Good afternoon and welcome to the heart of London. My name is Dafydd Rees. I'm a former journalist at Bloomberg and former head of BBC News and the former head of business news at Sky News Television. But we're here this afternoon to talk to Konstantin Sidorov, founder of the London Technology Club. And the location couldn't be more suitable because you may be able to see just behind me that you can actually see into the offices of the London Technology Club. And I think the head of marketing is just there. So we're going to spend the next hour or so talking about the London Technology Club, some of past performances, looking very much at the pledge fund that we are launching, and then finally talking about some of the investment trends and performances that Konstantin's particularly interested in right now. You have a chance to join the conversation as this screen here is directly linked to the webinar. So please feel free, if there are any questions you'd particularly like answered, to put them into the chat function and I'll be able to put them directly to Konstantin. So Konstantin, perhaps we'll start right at the beginning. Talk a little bit about your investment record, and I think I'm right in saying that you were one of the early investors in Spotify.
Yes, that's true. I started my investment in 1992. I set up a company in Moscow and built one of the largest IT holding in Eastern Europe. And in 2008, I sold large part of my business to Nasdaq listed company Ingram Micro. Then I also built with my partners a largest network of data center in CIS in Eastern Europe. And we also had a quite successful exit at the end of 2019, almost just before the pandemic happened. And also in parallel, I started my private investments into different startups. And I would say that I was very, very lucky with that because my first private investment was investment into Spotify. And
Judgment more than luck, surely.
yeah, and that's how I met Daniel through Alexander Mars, and as a result, I've got a very significant return. Then already when I set up the club, we, with another club members, invested in such a signature project like DD, Airbnb, Tier. So that's it.
Has tech always been what you've invested in? Have you invested in other areas as well?
I built most of my wealth, all of my wealth in tech. I had once I invested in non-tech project, but it was not.
Oh, right.
So I decided that tech is really what I know.
Yes.
Tech is really what I like. Tech is my passion, and I'd like to be in tech.
So why choose London as the location to set up your technology club?
First of all, I moved to London. Second, I found that London is the capital of a club, maybe capital of clubbing. And I found that, it was funny because I found you can find in London so many different clubs, clubs who love snakes, cats, dogs, whoever, but they were not tech club. And that I asked myself, why? On top of that, London is a real #1 European hub for investment. I just got the recent number about investment in 2020, and VC invested into tech startup originated in London over 13.7 billion pounds. So it's not definitely number one capital in Europe in terms of tech. So that's why it was quite obvious that the club should be in London.
And in terms of a club, that obviously brings with it a sense of fun, but there's also, it feels to me like one of the key things about the London Technology Club is the access that investors have by being a member of the club to perhaps private deals that they wouldn't be able to access otherwise.
Yes, you're absolutely right, because London, on top of that, is the financial capital. And for the successful investment, for successful tech companies, you should first people capital, a lot of young, very well educated people. And you know that London, in terms of school, in terms of university, is one of the world's capital. Many people like to send their kids here to graduate from London universities. And on top, it's financial capital. So that combination is really, really unique. What makes this success happen? I mean, London in tech.
So you've been going for about 3 years, and one of the words that struck me when we were discussing this before was this concept of the flywheel effect, this idea of kind of you're attracting more and more investment, more and more excitement, and more success. Looking back over those 3 years, where do you think liftoff came with that flywheel effect?
That's a very good question. First of all, going back 3 years, we didn't think that we'll have such a success. So we had definitely our plans, but what we achieved at the end is absolutely amazing and absolutely great. And I also would call it kind of the snowball effect, because we developed the club based on word of mouth. So our members so happy to be the members, and the retention rate is very high. So actually, all of our new members coming based on recommendation of all members. And that's how it's creates this kind of mechanism of the snowball.
So that, and you can be justifiably proud of some of the names of the advisory board that you have, like June Felix and others. How important do you think that advisory board is to the success of the London Technology Club?
Oh, I think it's very important because when we started the club, we have to bring very known people to create the level of trust. So that's why I approach my friends with whom I had previously business, who trust in me, and ask them why they would not like to be a member of the advisory board. And that's how I built this board. And so that's now in the board we have Michael Friedman, the founder of Letter One. We have June Felix, as you mentioned. We have emeritus chairman of Nestlé, Peter Brabeck. We have regional founder of Sequoia, Chris Rost. We have one of the wealthiest tech investor in Israel, Isaac Perfina. So we are really proud of this board.
And you also have quite a broad membership, because it's not just individuals. You've got family offices, you've got VCs, you've got financial institutions. Is it quite difficult to create a kind of investment collective out of people with such different goals and ambitions?
I don't think it's difficult. It's the variety of the people, what we have, is opportunity. And I see that huge opportunity to create diversity. Because if you bring in one room for the event only investment bankers, probably it would be the most boring event you would ever have. So that's why to have this diversity of members is one of it's a part of our overall strategy. Great. That's what we built. And on top of that, the club is in the middle of the community of the people where we mix together and join together and bring together big financial institutions, VCs, high net worth individuals, family offices, and at the end, the companies, the best companies where our members could invest.
So let's turn our attention now to discuss the Pledge Fund. How did this come about, this new investment opportunity for the London Technology Club? What was the spark or the idea behind it?
Actually, it's not really new. We started our Pledge I fund in April 2020. And we came to this idea due to two reasons. First is we have to make a decision for the hottest deal very quick. So the hottest deal are in the market during maybe 2, maximum 3 weeks. So that's why we have to make a commitment very quickly.
Is that why you've called it the pledge? Because of that commitment?
Yes, because in case of pledge, we are able to make a commitment very quickly. So we have our due diligence team, we do due diligence of the project, and then if we are comfortable with this deal, we could make a commitment, and then we can get allocation. Because, for example, if the founder or VC come to you, especially it's about Silicon Valley deals, most of those deals for the best companies are oversubscribed. And they ask for the commitment in a couple of days. That could happen. And when you try to explain that, okay, we'd like to present your project, we're going to do our own deal, our members going to do their own deal, then we'll collect all of the information from our members, then we pull money together, and then maybe we'll give you a commitment. His answer usually say, listen, I spent with you 20 minutes just because you was recommended as very good guy from London, but I already oversubscribed, and I could easily get money elsewhere else. So if you'd like to invest, tell me how much before the end of this week. So that's one of the reasons why we had to create some mechanism how to make a decision quicker.
Interesting.
So, and second, that we have different members. Some of our members like to look at a deal quite deep. They like particular sectors. They like to invest in particular sectors, and they'd like to make decisions themselves. But some members are quite busy, and 3 of them originally came to me at the beginning of 2020 and said, Konstantin, you are a great investor, and we believe what you're doing, and we like all of the project what you present on your platform, but we have no time, no expertise to look and consider each of this deal. So let's do the following. If you invest $1, we'd like to add additional dollars on top of that. And that's how we came to the decision that we have to build a fund. And that's what we did. And Pledge I is a kind of the experimental fund, and it's demonstrate really great success.
So that's a good time, I think, Sam, in the studio, if we could just bring in on the screen behind me the slide showing the performance of Pledge Fund I. I can't see it at the moment, Sam. If you there it's just over there, right? I don't know if you're able to see it from here, but are there any things, the things that struck me there when
I remember those numbers from my heart.
I'm sure you do. I was struck by that, particularly when it came to equities, that sort of triple-digit return on across the board. Is there something? Which one of those metrics are you most proud of?
IRR, because our targeted IRR in our Pledge 1 and now in our new fund, Pledge 2, is 25%.
Yeah.
And less than in 1 year, with the Pledge 1, we reach IRR above 30. So above our expectation, above our target. So that's why I'm very proud of these numbers.
Okay. It might be good, Sam, to move on then. Let's move on to the second slide we have, which is where we're going to be able to look at some of the metrics for.
Hopefully we have just 2 slides, no more.
No more than 2 slides. No. Now, so I think the viewers are able to see that now full screen. What would you want to pull out that? And I suppose perhaps the first question I should ask is, why is this so different to the traditional GP LP fund structure? You're clearly the largest investor in this by a significant way. Are there any disadvantages to you having so much skin in the game, as we say in English?
No, I think it's a big advantage. Maybe disadvantage for me because it's very personal for me, because the majority of money what invested in the fund is my personal money. So definitely this is my baby. But investors are very happy where the general partner invests majority of the fund, because it's another level of responsibility. Compare with other funds where GPs invest up to 5%. For our fund, I invest 30%. And I think it's a big difference of our fund from other funds.
I'm sure. Perhaps if, Sam, we could put that slide of Pledge Fund II back on the screen, because I wanted to pick up some of the issues there around the choice of sectors and the number of investments. I think I'm right in saying it's about 20 to 30 individual investments you're looking for.
Yes, you're right.
And you're trying to do all of that in the space of 12 months?
Yes, correct.
Does that feel ambitious?
Yes, it's quite ambitious, but it's about the same what we did last year. In 2020, we did 22 investments, and we are fine. So that's and we are going to do the same this year. So
yeah, I think most of the people watching will have the prospectus already with them, and there's lots of interesting details there. You talk in that prospectus about the sweet spot. Could you explain a little bit more about what is this sweet spot that you see for the Pledge Fund?
For us, in terms of investment into equities, the sweet spot are the companies with valuation between 100 million and 1 billion. So if you look in a company life cycle, so the company's life is about 8 years before the company is acquired by someone or go public. So our sweet spot is in the middle of this life cycle, when the company already has proven revenue, proven concept, set of notable investors, and in this 4 or 5 years period of the company, we'd like to invest. On top of that, now a lot of people have concerns that pre-IPO companies, especially if we talk about Spark possibility, are overheated. So that's why we prefer to invest somewhere in the middle. So we believe that to invest on the early stage is too risky. To invest into the too late stage could be too overheated, but in the middle, it's exactly the sweet spot, what you call.
Or Goldilocks moment.
Exactly.
So picking up on the case studies, I think Revolut and Drover are the ones that strike me as sort of telling the story of what you've just been talking about, because you were getting into Revolut in the first fund. Sort of, was it stage?
Yeah, we're very proud with our investment into Revolut, and we invested with a small discount to their previous round. So now they already announced that they're going to organize new round at valuation 10 billion, which is more than double compared with the valuation when the club member invested.
Yeah.
So and we have a lot of such good stories.
And tell me about the team behind all this and the due diligence that goes into the selection of investments. What should people watching know about that?
I'm very proud of our investment team. In general, I'm very proud of overall our staff. We have amazing marketing team, amazing events team, and amazing investment team. In terms of the investment team, we have very good people there. For example, the head of our investment team, Canon Paul, he worked for SoftBank. He worked in a project for a couple of very notable companies, including BBC, by the way. And he's consultant for many projects and with over 25 years experience in investing into startups. Our chairman, Robin Bakci, he was CEO at his previous role in Tanner, one of the largest European investment vehicle with a lot of quite signature assets under management, with huge experience in terms of M&A, in terms of investing. And before, he worked in London and New York in different banks, including Goldman Sachs. Our chief analyst, Oksana, she is a PhD in economic, and she has PhD in economic, and she has amazing experience in terms of the analyzing deal, over 15 years experience. So we have very, very, very experienced deal and team, and they have produced very good due diligence report. And actually, I can call it even our process like double due diligence, because usually we don't source our project from open market. We source our project on co-investment opportunities from other funds. So we have usually DD materials from them, and then we have our own DD on top of their DD. That's why we call it double DD project.
And a very good way of describing it. I'm just looking at the screen for some of the questions coming in. And Konstantin, one of the questions I'm being asked is, could you just repeat for those watching, when did Fund I start?
It started from 1st of April 2020.
So those impressive statistics that we've seen on screen, that's all in the past 12 months?
Exactly.
Great. The timescale of returns, 2 to 5 years or even longer. Why choose that kind of time scale for returns to come to fruition?
But it's connected to your previous question when I told about the lifetime of the company. And if we divide the 80s on two, where our sweet spot, you'll see that we will invest on the fourth or fifth year of the company. So it means we're expecting return for our investment in equities in 2 to 5 years.
It's the nature of the investment you're making.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we've gone through some of, as I say, people watching will have seen the prospectus, and there's a lot of talk there about the fees, and people can see those kind of questions. As was the size, the quantum of the investment put into the fund. In terms of how can people engage more with you and to learn more about the Pledge Fund? What means and avenues do they have to learn more?
Well, first of all, we have very, very unique strategy. And the core of our investment strategy that we split the investment into two parts. 30% of the funds, overall money from the funds, are investing into the other funds. So on 30%, it's kind of fund of funds, and only 70% invested directly into the equity. And this strategy, investing into other funds, allows us to solve two issues. First, we diversify our portfolio geographically, because we work with over 30 different funds, and we have partners in the US, in Israel, in Europe, in MENA region, now in Singapore. So we diversify our portfolio geographically. Then we diversify our portfolio through different sectors. And so that strategy allows us to invest into quite specialized sector like biotech, for example, where you can invest only through really experienced and good partners.
Yeah.
And third, we diversify our portfolios through many companies. So, and actually it's built the basis for our investment return. But what's more important, we being LP in different funds, we're able to monitor their performance and to see which of their portfolio company are doing well, which of them not doing well. So having this information, we take the best investment opportunities from our partners and co-invest in the best projects. So actually our equity part is kind of the best idea or best companies part. So, and that allows us this one to guarantee to look for this very good return, what we will be able to deliver to our investors.
Great. I'm going to turn now to a discussion around trends, what's interesting you now, comments on what we're seeing in the final part. And I think I'll probably start with the past 12 months have been very difficult thanks to the pandemic. The networking has obviously been a major problem. And one of the questions that's come in is, when can we have a glass of wine at the London Technology Club again at 67 Pall Mall? Anything you can say about that?
Soon. So the club are going to be open in a couple of weeks.
As soon as that?
Yes. So I think we can have a couple of glass or bottles of wine there soon. But actually, we did not stop drinking wine. Now, for example, when pandemic happened, we moved from live events to webinars, and we also started to organize virtual networking events. For example, we organized 2 events around wine. For example, we sent to all of our members a bottle of Arniloia, invited very famous sommelier to talk about Tuscan wines, and we connected all through Zoom, open our bottles, talk about Tuscan wines, and drink nice Arniloia. So then we organized the same event around chocolate. So we organized chocolate tasting, then also chocolate set, then bottle of champagne already, and also have this kind of the networking event. So actually we interacted with our members even during the pandemic.
And what sort of reaction have you had from members? Did they did it work for them as well as it worked for you?
I think they were very, very positive, because I'm a member of different clubs here in London. No one sent me a bottle of wine. I was forgotten for almost a year.
Do you think the next...
So that's why we are definitely very, very different from others.
Yeah. Do you think the next few months we're going to be all partying 24/7?
Oh, maybe we'll see.
What's your view on current tech valuations? When you look at the NASDAQ, does it feel to you that the good times will roll forever?
The situation is quite hot, but I don't think that it's overheated. If you look at the latest results of biggest tech tycoon, that's Apple, for example, they demonstrated record revenue, record profit, record margin, record everything. So I don't think that their valuation now is really above the roof. So, and compare on top of that, the pandemic accelerated the development of tech. And tech is now around us, everywhere. And tech company growing faster. They grow their revenue faster. They grow their profit faster. So that's why people asking why their valuation is growing faster. It's normal. That should be.
Yeah. One of the questions that has come in from those watching is, have you been following the IPOs of Coinbase and Deliveroo? What are your thoughts about, well, let's take Deliveroo for the first instance. Well, I think I'm right in calling it the most disastrous IPO in recent history. How do you think that affects people's attitudes and confidence?
I would argue with you, because when company goes to public market, then it's not just about IPO or the moment of IPO. It could be overheated, overestimated, underestimated. You know what I mean? The question where this company going to be in 6-12 months. So I'm happy to discuss with you about Deliveroo in 1 year. Let's have this conversation. And I think that you may change your opinion.
Okay, well, that's a promise. Now, I've got to say, the questions coming in are very interested in your tastes in wine. The question here is, what's your favorite wine, Konstantin, so we know for the future?
I'm a big fan of Italian red. So I like...
Barolo?
No, it's too light for me. So maybe Orniloia or Sassicaia. That's my 2 favorite wines.
Okay. So we're getting closer to the end now. Just a couple of questions to wrap up. Do you think London is still the magnet for new startups, for capital? Now we're in a post-Brexit environment. Does it still feel that it has the momentum that, say, it had 3-4 years ago?
I believe that he is, and he will be the capital of tech. And still, all bad forecasts about banks or financial community who going to leave from London after Brexit didn't happen. Everyone's still here. The educational system, the best university, the best schools are still here. And I see a lot of government support for this entrepreneurial activity here. For example, if you look into the visas, so the requirements for investor visas are much more stricter. But for entrepreneurial visas, it's easy for young people to get it now compared with the previous year. And this definitely demonstrates the government attempt to keep London as a capital of tech innovation. Again, I told about latest report from PitchBook, and in Q1, out of 5 largest IPOs in London, 2 came from London.
Really?
In Europe, 2 came from London. So this is statistic, and that's why I'm a strong believer in London.
So there are 2 questions that have come in from the audience, and I'll ask them in this order. What other areas, or what are the key areas, do you think, in tech that you're interested in? Is it fintech? Is it biotech? Is it mobility? Where do you see the excitement?
My passion is tech. And you know, I'm quite emotional guy. And when we organize event, for example, technology in art, I thought that, this is probably the key thing. When we organize event, technology in mobility, and around Formula One, I said, no, probably mobility is the really key thing. And then when we had research about AI, I said, no, now it's AI. And then I came to the idea, so, all of the segments are really very, very hot and very important. And if someone tells you that the AI, for example, the hottest topic, don't believe. It means that this person just know about AI. If you meet someone who have a lot of knowledge about mobility, he'll say the mobility is definitely the key area, or no, biotech or cryptocurrency, especially if you tell to cryptocurrency guys,
So like children, you don't really want to pick between them.
That's about current momentum of our life. Technology is go deeper and deeper in our day-to-day life, in any segment. Either you buy electric car, or you talk to your refrigerator how to order something from Amazon. Because now most of the advanced refrigerators are connected to internet, and they can check and you can connect them to the Amazon on some other delivery services. So you even shouldn't go to the shop. And
so I'm just conscious of time, and the questions are coming in. What makes you positive about the future is one of the questions that you're being asked.
I think I even know who asked this question.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
First of all, I think everyone are quite positive that at least here in the UK, we see light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, pandemic. So everyone going to open, everyone started to plan their vacation, their
I'm
business.
going for dinner tonight.
Yes, yes. So and it's really very positive momentum. So that's most people whom I met recently, they are 100% optimistic, at least here. Then I really big believer in technology, and with the same pace, I really believe that all of our investment into tech company, in our investment into the pledge fund, as a result, will bring a lot of money back to our investors and very good return. So I'm personally, because I'm the major investor there, I'm also very optimistic about my return, and I'm happy for those who decided to join the pledge fund to invest alongside with me. So that makes me very optimistic.
And as a final question, one of the points asked by the audience is about your long-term goals, your milestones for the London Technology Club. What would you say, and on what time frame are you going to judge long-term success?
The aims are very easy. First, we'd like to be one of the leading co-investment platform in Europe, who's sourcing the best co-investment opportunities. So that's our quite ambitious target. And second, we'd like to be the best specialized, I call it specialized, tech specialized club in London, because at the end, we're not just investment vehicle, we're not just the club, we're not just the organized networking event. We do everything together. So it's kind of the ecosystem. We build this ecosystem, and we try to do it for our members. We'd like to make them happy. And happiness, it's about have good return, drink Arnilaya, and and have nice conversation with your peers, with your like-minded people, and then they're happy, and that's what I'm building. And so far, we are very successful in it.
Well, amen to that. Konstantin, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon to talk through the pledge and talk through how you see the tech scene. I hope that the London Technology Club goes from strength to strength. Good luck.
Thank you so much.